Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Becky and in this video I'm going to be doing my July crafting wrap-up. If you're new here, thank you very much for joining me for this video, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I will leave links to everything that I talk about as well as everywhere that you can find me in the description box down below. July was quite a productive month for me, I think. I got quite a few of my whips finished, and I also did July vlogs and I did quite a lot of reading, so it's been a really good month, I think. I am just going to be filling you in mostly on the crafting things in this video, and I will leave links down below to my July vlogs and also my whip wrap-up video where I talk about all of my current whips, and also a link to my latest bookish video. So if you want to catch up on any of those things, then those links will be down below as well. Whew. So I think the best thing to do is to just get stuck straight in with my finished objects. I've got 4 finished objects to share with you. I think you will have seen all but one of these. Maybe you've seen all of these, but we'll see. We'll figure it out as we go along. The first thing that I finished right at the beginning of July was a pair of socks for my eldest Aiden. He has been sort of hinting at a pair of socks for quite a while, and then while we were away in May, I was knitting these for myself and he said that he really liked them, so I just stopped early on the toe and on the foot, sorry, and made them Aiden sized. So these are going to be for him and he's excited about that, although he did feel the need to point out to me that it was too warm for socks like this right now, and so were they for him for winter. I was like, yes, they're for you for winter, so they might go away and be a Christmas present, or like an Advent time present. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. But yes, these will go away and they will come out again in winter for him to enjoy. They're going to be perfect for inside boots and things at forest school. And because I started them for me, I did like a larger cast on than I would have done if I'd started them for him. So he's got quite a lot of space in there, which means he can like tuck thermal trousers into the leg of the sock and things like that. So, and they can like bunch around his ankles and just keep him nice and toasty. The yarn is some yarn that I dyed a little while ago, so I can't link that, I'm afraid. And the pattern is just a vanilla sock pattern that I basically have stored in my brain from knitting socks for so long. So that was the first thing that I finished. And then next was another pair of socks, a pair of socks that has been around for a long time, and that is my Stranger Things socks. Yarn is from Laura at Folk Yarns, and the pattern is String of Lights by Lindsay of Sock Witchery. I've got a Fish Lips Kiss Heel, and I don't think I'm going to be doing Fish Lips Kiss Heels anymore. I talked about that in a previous podcast. I just don't like how they fit my foot, so I think this was the last pair of socks I had on the needles with a Fish Lips Kiss Heel, so that's it now. No more Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I actually might do them for my husband because he doesn't seem to mind them, and they are, I find the Fish Lips Kiss Heel is quite good to knit when I'm like out and about. If I get to the heel while I'm out and about, I can do a Fish Lips Kiss Heel quite easily, whereas I find a heel flap and gusset a bit too much like focusing for like out and about knitting. Just me. But really happy that these socks are done. I cast these on for the last episode of the 4th season of Stranger Things, which I think was like 2 years ago. Was that even more than 2 years ago? And they have just been finished. So yeah, but they fit really nicely, apart from the heel, and they're going to be great. I'm going to wear them while we binge Stranger Things in October, getting ready for the final season. I'm so sad it's the final season, but I'm so excited to see what they do at the end. So really pleased with how they turned out, really love the colour. Yeah, so happy to get those ones finished. Third pair of socks. that I finished is a small pair of socks, which when I started them they were for Rory, but it's taken me so long to knit them that they don't fit him anymore. Luckily, I'm working on a project that means I will have somebody else to put them on in October, so we're fine there. Just noticed that one leg is shorter than the other, but that's fine. So yeah, these will be like, I guess they're too big to be baby socks, but they'll be toddler socks at some point in the future. I'll pop them away and they'll get worn. It's fine. It just means I do need to cast on Rory another pair of socks because he definitely wants a pair as well. He's been asking for some hand knit socks, and every time I've been knitting socks he asks if they're for him. So I do need to get some socks on the go for him. This yarn was a yarn from, again, Laura of Folk Yarn Studios, and it was like a Christmas yarn, I think. Christmas Feels, I think it was called. It's from a few years ago. And then the pattern is I just did 2x2 ribbing all the way down, heel flap and gusset, and then just kept the bottom of the foot plain and continued the ribbing on top. So they fit really nicely everywhere apart from the length of the foot, and it looks really cute sort of folded over like that. So I'm really disappointed that they don't fit Rory. I could have undone the toe and knit them longer because, like I say, they fit great other than that, but I'm just going to knit him a new pair, and yeah, and then I'll feel like I'm knitting them for him like correctly rather than just bodging it. I think actually I have got a slight discrepancy in the foot length as well. I don't know what happened. That's the problem with knitting them. Like, I knit one last year for Christmas and then I've only just finished the second one. It only took me like a couple of days to do the second sock, but I forget like how many stitches I've picked up on the heel flap, so then how many do I need to decrease for the gusset, and then if I've picked up more stitches for the second sock, then I end up with more rows in my decrease, which means it's longer. So then when I do my 30 foot rounds, that's like ends up being longer. So I just need to get into the habit of knitting socks a bit closer together. Like, I need to kick that second sock syndrome out and knit 2 socks at the same time. So the last finished object is a finished object that I started during July and have finished during July, which is like unheard of for me, but it is quite a small project, so it's definitely easier to do. It hasn't been blocked yet. I'm going to block it much closer to the time of the recipient's arrival. I did the flax DK in the first size, which I think is 0 to 3 months, in a nice blue colour. This is from Stash. The yarn was from Stash, so that felt really good. And I had like more than half a ball left. I think they're 50-gram balls, and I'm hoping that there's enough in here that I can make like a little matching bonnet. So I'll get to that at some point later in the year. But yeah, really enjoyed making this. It's such a quick pattern. I did the like patterning in the sleeves, that garter panel in the sleeves. Possibly in future I wouldn't bother doing that. I like having the extra interest, but I think possibly just in future, just for speed, I would not bother doing these bits. But really happy with how this turned out. It seems so tiny. I can't believe that anyone's ever going to fit into this. Really hoping that he does fit into this when he arrives, but pretty sure he will. And yeah, it'll be perfect. I've not had a like autumn winter baby before. My other 2 are summer babies, so didn't really need layers, like woolly layers in the early days. It was all light layers, and so now I'm thinking about the jumper situation. So that is it for my finished objects. I'm now just checking my notes to make sure I haven't forgotten anything and to make sure that I know what I'm talking about next. If you've already watched my whip wrap-up video, then you'll know that I have gone through all of my whips and I have assigned certain whips to certain months of the year for the rest of the year so that I can focus on those projects and try and get them finished before the end of the year. So hopefully by the end of the year I will have 0 whips, or if I do have whips then they'll be like very freshly cast on and hopefully still holding my interest. So this month 2 of the projects that I'm working on are they've been on the needles and the hook for at least a year, and then one of the other projects that I'm focusing on this month I'll talk about in the next section because I'm using it as part of a make along. So at the moment I am working on 1 pair of socks that's living in my coffee and yarn cakes bag. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, then you'll know that coffee and yarn cakes, my favourite bags. So this is what I'm working on at the moment. These are my out and about socks. They're my moon socks. This is from last year's Green Lambkin Yarns sock club. I didn't cast any of the socks on last year, or maybe I cast these ones on, but it was right at the end of last year, and I cast them on 9-inch circulars. And then I got so little knitting done on them, I just really decided that I hated knitting socks on 9-inch circulars. It was too fiddly. I was getting shoulder pain and hand pain and all sorts. So I abandoned the 9-inch circulars and moved them over onto Magic Loop, which is my preferred method for knitting socks. And they have gone so much quicker since I've moved them over. I am done with the heel flap and gusset decreases on this sock, and this one I am pretty much done with the gusset decreases, heel flap's done, and then I'll just be moving on to the foot. So they are in the perfect positions for being projects that I take out and about with me. They will be done in no time if I make sure that they're in my bag. So they are living in my rucksack. So I don't knit on them at home. They just get worked on when I'm a passenger in the car or when we're sitting in a cafe or something. I just get them out even if I just get like a couple of rounds done, and I'm trying to knit them at the same time. So I'll knit the cuff on one and then I'll do the cuff on the other, and then I'll do the leg and the leg, so that they're it's hopefully going to avoid me forgetting how many of whatever I picked up or decreased or whatever. So hopefully they will be even when they are finished, and hopefully they'll be done well before the end of August, and then that will be another of my whips ticked off, finished and done, and hopefully, yeah, I'll get to show those to you in the next episode of my podcast. But really liking those. It's just a plain vanilla sock pattern, and then next year I'm hoping that I can knit the remaining 11 sock club sets. And my next sort of most active whip that I'm working on in the evenings when we're watching the TV, or if I'm just sort of sitting listening to an audiobook, or if the children are playing loudly and I can't read, then I'm working on this project, a giant crocheted triangle. In July, my aim was to finish all of the mini skeins that I had wound into balls. So I think at the beginning of July I wound 6 balls, and I wanted to get all 6 of those added to the blanket, which I did do. And then I wound up 6 more, the final 6 balls, and the aim is to be finished with those by the end of August, which I will definitely do. I am on ball 3 of 6, so this is the 3rd of 6 balls, and I am doing, at first I was just using it until I ran out, and then I would join the new colour midway through a row. But now that I've got so little, now that I've got so far to go, it's gotten quite big. So a row goes from here all the way along and there's the like end of the triangle, and then it comes all the way along again. And in the last row I got 2 full rows there and back out of the ball with a tiny amount left. So I think I will get the same out of this ball, and then I think I will just be able to get 1 there and back. I don't, in these last 3, 4 colours, I don't want to be stopping and starting halfway through the row because the rows are so short. Well, no, they're so long that it's a lot more obvious where the yarns change. So I want to just have a full clean row or 2 in these last rows. So I think I will get all the way to the end and back again out of this yarn, and then yeah, the final 3, I'll see how I do, but I'm imagining I'll just get to do like essentially a row in each one. Also, this feels huge now. I'm imagining it's going to be really, really nice to just throw over my shoulders in the winter and be like cozied up, or like over my lap and things like that. So I'm sure the children will relish wrapping themselves up in it. Yeah, it feels big enough for what I want it to be now, so I'm not too worried about getting like squeezing that extra length out. But I would like to get, I want each of the yarns to really be seen, so I think that they'll be better if they're not sort of interrupted halfway through by a yarn change. I don't know if you would agree with me, but that's what I'm going for. I'm really, really loving it. It's so colourful and bright. I think at first I was like worried it was too much, but now I just really love it. So, and this has been on my hook for coming up on, well, it must be over a year now. I'm sure it must be over a year. So it really needs to be finished. And I reckon there's a chance I could finish it today or tomorrow. So particularly with just doing 1 row out of each of those balls. So I think, yeah, that's going to be checked off as well very soon, which will feel so good. And then I just have to find somewhere to lay it out and block it, because the edges are definitely, or that top edge that should be straight is definitely a little bit wonky, because crochet is not my main craft, and so there's definitely a couple of places where I made a little bit of a mistake, and I'm hoping that I can like just block it out. Okay, so those are my main whips at the moment, and then once I've finished the blanket, I am going to shift focus a little bit to either a project that I have already cast on, which is my sea glass tee. I know, I think I said last episode that this was going to be hibernating, but I want to knit this for the make along that Hannah is running from A Corner of Craft. She's running a Advents of December's Past, I think it's called, and it's just a way to try and prioritise using up old Advents before new Advents arrive. So I have got 2 Advent calendars coming this year, and I said to myself that I needed to finish I needed to use up an Advent for each Advent that I was getting. This is an Advent from a homespun house from 2 or 3 years ago that I have been working on for a while. Like I say, if you have been here for a while, you will know that I have been working on this for far too long. So I would like to finish that. The rules, this feels like the wrong word, the guidelines for Hannah's make along were that the project had to be under 50% finished in order to be considered. And I think that this, I measured it, length, and took away how much of it I already had and saw how much of it I needed to do. And I figured out that I was just over 50% of the way through the length of the t-shirt, assuming that I want to do a cropped, slightly cropped top. So if I end up doing it longer, then I'm well under 50%. But if I do it cropped, then body length wise, it's just over 50%, but then I have sleeves to do, and I'm gonna do like t-shirt length sleeves, not like little tiny sleeves, but t-shirt length sleeves. So that added in, and all of the hemming, like bands and things like that, I was like, yeah, okay, I definitely am within the 50%. So I can count it. So I'll be working on that once my triangular shawl is finished, and then hopefully I can get that finished by like mid-September. That's my hope. And the make along runs until the end of October. So I also have picked out another advent from Moonlight Fibre, which is living in this bag that I got from the accidental bookshop in Alnwick when we were on holiday last year. And this one is a very tweedy, beautiful, I think it's a fade, and I have picked a pattern. I've picked the Contrawise shawl, and I think it's going to look really beautiful faded with this advent calendar. And then that will be my 2 advent calendars like used up in order for my 2 new advent calendars to arrive. So I'm probably going to cast that shawl on during August, and then I'll just sort of like flip-flop between the jumper and the shawl depending on how hot it is. The last couple of weeks have been much cooler, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm ready. While I was really struggling with the heat when it was really hot, I don't think I'm ready to say goodbye to summer yet. Much as I love autumn, I feel like I would like to have another couple of like hotter days. So I'll have to just bear that in mind with what I'm knitting. If we do get hotter days, I'm not going to want to knit something like big and heavy and thick with lots of yarn. So I just need to think about that. I also have a baby blanket that I'm working on, and that's just like mitered squares, so that might come out as well. I think I'd put that on my focuses for August too, but that doesn't need to be finished until October. So there's some flexibility with the whips, but those are the 4/5 projects, including the baby blanket, that I'd like to be focusing on over the next coming weeks, and we'll just see how we get on. I have also been getting really into cross stitch. I think I showed this to you. Did I show this to you last time, or did I show it to you the time before? I cannot remember. But this is the Spill the Tea cross stitch kit from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I am slowly working on it. Cross stitch is something that I'm quite new to. I've done a lot of like, you know, little deck chairs, a penguin, that kind of thing that you get in those like tiny kits, but I haven't done anything, never finished anything on this sort of size. And I've been really enjoying it. It does take a lot more focus. I have to pay attention. So it's not something that's quite so easy to do in the evening while we're watching the telly. So it needs to be sort of a quiet afternoon or something, where we have no plans and I can just sit quietly and do a little bit of this. Or if we are sat in the evening and we don't want to watch anything, then I might listen to an audiobook and do a little bit of cross stitch. But that, I am really enjoying that. And we're getting our kitchen refitted in September. Don't tell me that I'm crazy for booking a kitchen fitting in like 3 weeks before I'm supposed to have a baby, because I know that I am crazy for doing that. But I think it's going to look great in the new kitchen. So I'm really excited to finish it, and I'd like to finish it before the kitchen is finished. but we'll see. I think that might be pushing it a little bit, but we'll see. So really, really enjoying that. And I will link the bag down below, but I can't remember anything about it right now, but I love it. It's a great way of storing cross stitch. I can see everything. It's great. So that is it for things that I'm working on, things that I finished, that kind of thing. Got a few things that I want to show you that have like come into my life since the last episode. And then I'll talk very quickly about what books I'm reading. And then that's going to be it for this episode. So it was my birthday at the end of July. So I got a couple of little nice things. Oh, but actually, I'll talk about this first. At the beginning of July, I bought myself one of Paula, Stitch by Mrs. D, bought one of her project bags. And it came with this really lovely stamp, like the sticker on the wrapping paper, and a really beautiful postcard in it. There's like just a nice little thank you for shopping note, but I just thought that was really lovely. So I'm keeping those in there because I really like them. So yeah, I got this little patchwork bag with these lovely little bunting flags on the back. And I think I'm going to use this to store my, I've got some English paper piecing hexagons that I would like to have a little play with. And I think I'm going to store my sort of active ones in here while I'm sort of playing around with that. I don't know if it's not big enough for the whole project, but just the sort of little pieces, I thought this would be a nice place to store them. So that's that one. I picked up, in a charity shop, I picked up a book called Quilting in No Time, which just had a couple of nice projects in it. Some nice sort of bedspread quilt things. Some like crazy quilting, and then things like, you know, project baskets, what else, bags, cushions, things like that. So I've got quite a lot of fabric that was both of my Nan's, so I think I'd like to get some of that out and use it to make some of these nice projects. So that was a nice find. It was only £2, so it seemed very worth it. And then birthday things. So it was my birthday and my mum and I went out, knocking everything everywhere. Mum and went out to watch Fantastic Four and just had our nails done. Might have noticed them. Shiny. And then we just did a little bit of shopping as well. And I picked up two things that really caught my eye. And my mum said that she would buy them for me as a little bonus birthday present, because my birthday present hadn't arrived yet. So she was feeling a bit guilty, even though that was not in any way her fault. She still just wanted to get me a little something. So I had a little something. And so I spotted this cross-stitch bookmark, which I really loved, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. I don't think I'm going to make myself wait until I finished the tea one, but I might wait until the end of the month and do it to sort of celebrate finishing, hopefully, the What Victoria Read reading challenge, summer reading challenge. So I might just take a little bit of time at the end of the month to finish that. I think it's super cute. It's got tea and books and glasses. Perfect. So that'll be cute, and it's given me some inspiration for a reading tracker for next year, which I'm going to think about a bit and then talk to you about probably in a video towards the end of the year. But I'm quite excited about that. So it was a nice little bit of inspiration as well as a beautiful thing to have for myself. And then the other thing that I spotted that my mum got for me was 365 Days of Stitches, and it's just little like motifs. They're almost like little doodles, and I just absolutely love them all, and it's a way to sort of journal the year. I'm just trying to find some of my favourite ones. It's split up into topics. I thought it was going to be split up into seasons or months, but it's not. It's like every page is, or it's like every chapter is a general topic, like animals, and then each page is like a more specific, so like reptiles and dinosaurs. So I just thought this would be really super cute way of like practicing a little bit of embroidery and journaling, and just something really lovely to look at the end of the year. So, oh, Halloween. So yeah, I'm really excited to get started on this next year, and I'm just thinking about how I want to do it. Oh look, hobbies. I love it. There's a couple of examples in the book. So obviously on the front there's this like wheel idea where you have like the segments, one for each month. I like that slightly less because I just worry that I might not fill a segment each month and then it will look a bit sad. Like January was really boring. But the other thing that I've seen that I really like is this, where they've got like the title of the month, but it's really like chaotic, and like the whole thing is really densely filled. I just feel like that lends itself a little bit better to some months being busier than others. So I think that's probably how I'm going to do it. And then it will just be, yeah, I think it might just look a bit nicer come the end of the year. Just need to, yeah, think about it a little bit. And then the last thing I have to show you, my mother-in-law and father-in-law got me a voucher for caterpillar cross stitch, and I immediately spent it because I knew exactly what I was going to get. I picked up the One More Chapter kit, so it's got everything. I got the hoop as well, and I also got the needle minder because I love to accessorize and match my projects and things. So I got those, and this will be the next thing that I work on once I finished the Spill the Tea, and I think it's going to look really cute, like on a bookshelf or something like that. So really pleased with that one. Yeah, I'm excited to get started on that, but I am being good and I'm waiting. I also got, and I forgot to bring it upstairs, if I remember I'll put a picture in here, from Andrew I got, oh no, from the boys, my little boys, I got a Stranger Things cross stitch, which looks really awesome. So I'm probably gonna keep that one and maybe cast it on during Stranger Things season at the end of the year. So so I can maybe do it. I think that's going to be one that'll be a bit easier to work on while I'm watching, because it's quite blocky colours. Like it's quite a large area of like one colour, so I think that might be a little bit easier to work on whilst I'm watching. And then just finally, I'll tell you the books that I'm currently reading. If you'd like to hear more about what books I have finished recently, I'll link my most recent bookish wrap up. I talked a little bit about books during July vlogs, so I think I already said I'd link those down below. And I will be doing a wrap up of all of my reading for the Summer Reading Challenge, like beginning of September. So there's plenty of bookish content done and to come, but I'm I'll just update you now on what it is that I'm actually reading at the moment. So with my eyes, I am reading Bookshops and Bonedust, and I'm really enjoying it. I started this morning and I am 80 pages in. It's been a very restful, relaxing day, so not surprising that I've gotten as far through as I have, but very pleased to have gotten that far through. When I finished recording, I'm going to go straight back downstairs to sit on the sofa and read some more. So really enjoying this. I have read Legends and Lattes, and this one is just as much fun. So, and also it's about bookshops. So I love bookshops. So it's just even better. And then with my ears, I am listening to I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is my second listen to this book and I'm enjoying it just as much as I did the first time. It's read by Jenny Agata and her voice is just really nice to listen to, so it's quite a relaxing listen. And I've been listening to that, like if the boys are watching something on the telly that I am not interested in, which is the vast majority of the things that they watch on the telly, then I'll just put like one earbud in so I can still like chat to them when they want to like tell me something, but I'm also not having to listen to what it is they're listening to. And that is everything, I think. I think that's it. Just checking, this is my little basket where I put things that I want to talk to you about. Yeah, oh, don't lose that. I'll be looking for that later and I won't know where it is, and then I will be able to crochet. That is everything. I haven't got a lot of life stuff to share just because I did July vlogs, so I shared a lot of like the normal everyday lifey stuff in that. So I don't really have anything, nothing comes to mind to tell you. If you have enjoyed the video, do hit the like button, and if you fancy it, hit the subscribe button as well, and then you'll see my future videos. I have got plans for the rest of the month, and I've got some vague plans for the rest of the year. So hopefully the content will remain fairly regular on my channel, and so it'd be worth subscribing to hear when new things come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!